OMG, WTF, and any other acronyms that you can come up with that fits what we watched a little under 24 hours ago. Andy?
WAFM.
FNW, FNL, loads in there, I think. Andy, how are you, my man?
Yeah, I do apologise. Like I said, I think when I was on the show with Steve last week, I sounded a bit ropey, and obviously for people who don't know, I've been proper run down, to be honest, but I'm slowly on the mend, so yeah, I can't complain, mate. What about you?
On an upward trajectory. I'm not bad, my man. I'm a bit hoarse in the throat.
Yeah.
Literally, at one point last night, I screamed so loudly, and we'll go through it in a bit. But I say screamed. I was up off my chair. I was in the pub watching the game with 5 or 6 others, and I was up out of my seat. I cheered, and my voice went. I was literally talking a bit like that. Evening, B.
What, like a Frank Butcher sort of voice?
Well, kind of. Oh, they're coming for me. What a night! I mean, we did the preview, Andy, without you, me and Steve, the other night. Obviously, as you say, you weren't well. And we discussed lineups, and we discussed tactics. We discussed pretty much the arse end of an elbow about the game. And not what did I even imagine, in a way, that we'd be so convincing. That's all I've got there at that point is I've watched other channels. I've watched other reviews. I've read the papers. I've listened to Sky, talk shite. And they say the scoreline flatters. I don't think it does, personally.
No.
I actually think we were value for money. Their goal was just because we'd switched off. But let's go back 24 hours then, or just a little bit more than 24 hours. Lineup comes out. I know you've got it there. I know you've stitched me up, you bastard, right? So our lineup comes out. Not quite what I had in mind with my... I kind of went with a 3-5-2. I even went with Areola starting and giving Fab the game on Saturday. Obviously, we started with Fabianski in goal, Soufal at right back, Mavropanos and Aguerd, the 2 centre-backs. Emerson returned to the squad after his suspension against Everton on Sunday. Then you had your 2 holding midfielders in the shape of Souček and Alvarez. Kudus out, from what I could tell, started out on the right. Benrahma on the left, and Bowen obviously played up top on his own. The guy in behind him, gentleman there by the name of Tolentino Coelho de Lima. Was you happy with the lineup that you saw? And obviously, when that came out, that would have been at about 6:30.
I was very surprised. I was very surprised. The reason why I was surprised more was the Arsenal starting 11. I know you sort of mentioned ours. As soon as I saw that Arsenal 11, for some reason I looked at that first and then looked at ours. And as soon as I saw the lineups, I fancy us today now. As soon as I saw them starting 11s, I was like, I fancy us. And credit where credit's due. Moyes could have easily played the likes of Fornals, could have played some more lesser players, if you want to call it that, could even have, including Creswell, saved Emerson for Saturday. But that starting 11, but that front four is exciting. That is just attack, and I'm not just saying it. When you look at their last four, I know we're saying hindsight after the game. I know what front four I'm picking. Havertz, Nelson, Nketiah, and Trossard.
I mean, if I'm honest with you, right?
Yeah.
Go back to January. I wanted Trossard. I think we were discussing at length, the possibility, and this was when Rob was still on the channel as well, and we were discussing the possibility of Roberto Martinez obviously coming in. He was the old Belgian manager at the time. Trossard was looking to leave Brighton, and for me, I think, unfortunately for him, you've got the likes of Gabriel Martinelli, and you've got Bukayo Saka at the levels that they are. Trossard was always going to kind of be second fiddle. Same with Reece Nelson, who I rate quite highly. Not going to lie to you. And then you go back over a year. I wanted Eddie Nketiah. He was going into his last season at Arsenal. I think if you go back and watch a video, I said £80 million for Declan Rice plus Eddie Nketiah, and I would have been happy with that. I think he's a cracking player. I did read somewhere online that yesterday was his 18th away game without actually scoring a goal, which just shows you how differently Arsenal do play when they're at the Emirates compared to where they go elsewhere. Like you, mate, I saw that and I was like, okay. I thought the edge was ours before kickoff.
Yeah.
Right before kickoff, I thought the edge was ours. This has got to give us the edge over it. Kickoff came. And I'm going to tell you now the one thing I noticed. It was the one thing I called for, right? We didn't do it against Everton. We didn't do it against Aston Villa. But in my preview show with Steve, I turned around and I said, all I want to see is two of our players taking their attacking, their centre-backs on things like goal kicks and the throw-ons when they're dicking around at the back. I want our wingers, in this case, it was Benrahma and Kudus, pushing and pinning their fullbacks in. I got my wish, Andy, and I saw my wish early on. And the difference in levels between last night and what I saw on Sunday, and I was at the game on Sunday, and I sat in my chair like this. The difference. The pressing, the levels of pressure that we put on that Arsenal backline was a million miles away from what we've seen this season.
Yeah, 100%. And that is because we'll probably move on to it, and that's the reason is that run from Kudus where we get the corner for the own goal. Like, if no disrespect, if you had a Fornals or a Cornet or Antonio, they wouldn't be making them runs for the ball to be clipped into the box and causing some pressure. But I know he's not both of our biggest fans, but I thought Benny done really well yesterday. It's the pressure. He gave the option and he was pushing. Him staying out wide caused Paqueta to do the damage in the middle. Because if you notice, normally he runs into the middle as well. But I think Moyes must have just told him, just stay out wide. Ben White loves to come in and tuck in to help. So does Zinchenko. And the fact that they were just one of them was staying wide at each time created all that space in the middle for me.
Well, I'll tell you what, you mentioned Benny, and before we go on to the goal, I want to give him special credit. There was a point in the first half where he I won't say dicks around because that's not what I'm going for, but he loses the ball.
From the corner, wasn't it? Was it from the corner or across?
Yeah, no, it was down in the corner, our corner, their right hand side, and he loses the ball, and Reece Nelson runs 80 yards.
Yeah.
He runs from his corner flag almost to probably 10 yards from the byline in our half. And Benny kept track with him from the moment he lost the ball to the moment he got all the way back, made the interception, made the tackle, was strong enough to knock Nelson off the ball, and comes away with the ball. I tell you what, he had me out of my seat at that point, giving him a standing ovation, cheering, shouting, because this was one of the big criticisms I had of him when
we played Arsenal. When we played Arsenal in March, he didn't track back the run and Odegaard run behind him. Or was that the season? Was it that?
This is why with Cresswell we had 4 hours, because in track, you're seeing more of it now. You're seeing the high pressure, but you're also seeing both him, Kudus, Paqueta, and Bowen. Our front 4 were dropping every time we lost the ball. Okay, it felt like we were deep at points, very deep at points.
But as soon as we won the ball back,
they were gone.
Those
2 boys were on their bikes. Bowen and Kudus were gone. And as you said a minute ago, the first goal, it comes from that clip ball in beyond, Kudus making an absolute nuisance of himself, and the ball goes out of play. And Pat Butcher puts the ball into the back of his own net. It's a great cross. It's put in low. It's put in with pace. It's very flat. It's not looping or anything else. He's caught it right.
I just want to hope Ramsdale survived his apparent assault, according to Mark Wiltshire and Alan Smith. I just hope he's okay and he's fully recovered. To be perfectly honest, I just look at him there. Look at that assault. Look, that's he could get in time for that.
Listen, if that's at the other end, I'm running onto the pitch and doing my nut, right? If there's VAR, that's disallowed, right? I'm not saying it's assault. I'm not saying... Listen, he has hold of his shirt and he stops him from going anywhere. It is disallowed, but I don't care because it's for us, not against us, right? But it's, again, Souček making the most of being in the way that we become accustomed to Antonio being in and around the goalkeeper, stopping the goalkeeper from moving. As I say, at the other end, I'm losing my shit. But it wasn't, so I don't care. It's a great cross. And for me, I'd say we were good value at that point, Andy, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's typical Moyes ball. Even at half time, no shots and 1-0 up.
Not a touch in their box as well. Let's clear that up.
I think that was it's 3. I think 3 touches in the opposition. Yeah, but still,
it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing that that we go in at half time.
Can I just give a shout out as well before the build up as well? Is we're probably in that talk about and the one what we can see on the back there. What a game Alvarez had last night.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I was going to give him a special mention. But it was a couple of times. Oh, we'll come to that. We'll come to that in a bit. We go in at half time, and for me, in fact, I'm going to give another special shout out to another man on the screen now, Mavropanos. When he picked the ball up, and I'll tell you what, he weren't even out of second gear, mate, because he kept stopping. He kept stopping, looking over his shoulder, and was like, there's no one with me. I've got to go again. And then he'd stop and he'd look back, and you could see it on his face. And he wins us a corner. He wins us a corner by making, a 60, 70 yard run after picking the ball up, seeing that there was no options in front of him, and he just took it and went. I'm going to make a bold statement. I want to see more of Agard and Mavropanos as a starting pairing in more games.
Well, we won't spoil it, but I think it might be a back three against Brentford with Zuma with the three of them potentially.
Well, if he does, that plays into what I said in the preview to this game. So, we're going at half time, Andy. You know, it's a buzzing atmosphere. Everyone's happy, certainly at the pub. You could see it in the ground. You know, the smiles. Our concern was that we were going to get our traditional start of the second half lethargic that comes.
I actually wasn't, and the reason why it's because of the energy. What we mentioned. I know they probably wouldn't have been able to do it. I didn't think they'd be able to do it for 90 minutes, but the pressing. But we had the likes of Cornet, we had the likes of Fornell. So if one of them did get tired, I think you could still go out there and do that job. The reason why I felt more confident was the fact that Arteta made no changes at half time. If we saw the likes of Martinelli or Saka, etc., I would be more concerned. But the fact that he made no changes either, I was feeling quite confident, and I've never seen us come out the first 5 minutes. Obviously, that Bowen, I've got to give Ramsdale credit. That was a fantastic save, the one-on-one with Bowen. And we just come out of the traps and we didn't look back.
Now, you talk about that save from Ramsdale. Paqueta had something similar right at the start of the first half. You know, he overhit it. And I get it. You know, these things happen in games. If there's a bubble or if there's a lack of spatial awareness, if you will, and he's overhit it. He got that one spot on at the start of the second half, and I was trying to work out. I've watched the replay a couple of times. I was trying to work out if Kudus gambles, does he get there? And it's just one of those. He was close enough that if he gambles, I feel he might be able to get a toe in front of Ben White.
Yeah,
but. I mean, let's be honest, we didn't have to wait long and mull on it and be disappointed about it. Again, picks the ball up on the left, mate. And what's that? It's got to be a 80, 90, 100-yard pass crossfield.
And that's not the first time he's done that for us either. Like, not from that extent of the goal, but I mean, he's always looking to ping them balls over.
But this is where I feel Mavropanos gave him, shall we say, the license to go do that, to carry himself. I don't want to say swagger because, as I say, I've watched other channels and they mention he played with a swagger. And I only bring that up because that's what they've said. But I felt it gave him a license to go back to doing what he did before. We had two pacey centre-backs that could run, that could jump and not worry about how they're going to land with their knees buckling out from underneath them. Yeah. And the ball was outstanding. It's on the money. We talk about James Ward-Prowse's delivery from free kicks and from corners and, you know, how he's compared to Beckham and how Beckham could put a pass on a sixpence. What Aguerd did last night, the weight of the pass, the quality of the pass, the placement of the pass, as good as that was, all of that was overshadowed by that man's control.
Yeah, 100%, mate.
I've watched it because at first I thought he got lucky, but he doesn't. Do you remember? Is it Seville away? And I think it was it? I can't remember. I want to say it was Paqueta when the ball comes in and he controlled it with a foot behind.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And you had Cresswell and everyone on the bench like.
Oh no, that was Anderlecht away. That was Anderlecht away.
That Anderlecht away where he controls it behind him.
Yeah.
Kudus does that. He puts his foot behind his standing foot, controls it in such a way the ball spins on the spot. It doesn't move away. It doesn't ricochet somewhere. He controlled it, and it span on the spot.
The fact that the grass was a little bit wet as well, which made it even a little bit better. The fact that
and then the finish through the legs of was it
Gabriel?
Well, Kivior. Who was it? Who was
No,
it through the legs?
Gabriel.
Through the legs of Gabriel, who I think should have done better. The kind of way he goes into a R.I.P. Matthew Perry, but it reminds me of the episode of him and Chandler of him and Joey in Friends, where he goes, "I better not do any lunges," and he just goes into the lunge. That's what my he went into a lunge, kind of a side on, like, you know, when you're stretching your hamstrings out before the game or your groin. That's all he did. There was very little kind of attempt to block the ball. It goes through his legs, and it just bends into that far corner. And I was in dreamland, Andy.
Yeah, and you just say, look, it just proves how far bomb. Look, Emerson's there as well. Yeah. It's mad, really, when you think about it. And then
I'll be honest, I thought that was better during the game.
And the best bit though is, I know you can keep saying it's when you're playing well. I love to see this. Look at the togetherness there from the team. When any goals or anything happen, they'll tapping each other, gearing each other up, and look how much it means to Caduce as well.
Oh, he was up on the advertising hoardings, wasn't he? Sat there like King Dick, holding court in his kingdom. Like, it was brilliant. It was amazing.
Yeah, 100%. And then we was like, he's going to change it now, Arteta, and we'll sort of mention it now. This man come on for Jorginho. I
thought we made some good passes, Fabianski. I thought that was good of him.
No, if I'm being honest, I understand the boos. I really do.
Yep.
But I'm not sitting here judging anyone or anything. But it's nice. What I don't agree with, the fans turning on each other because of it. And at the end of the day, it's the same as any form of life. Everyone's entitled to an opinion.
Yep.
And I thought that was nice when he was warming up as well, that some form of the crowd gave him a reception. That I think that was nice.
Listen, my thoughts on the man haven't changed since the move, really. You know, the rumours went around that he was meeting Arteta, discussing his future. I felt that was slightly out of place when we were in a relegation battle at the time. I thought, it leaves a sour taste in my mouth because of that. A club captain shouldn't be, in a sense, being selfish enough to think about his own self. He knew he was going at the end of the season. The agreement was already been in place. But for me, the fact that it was made public knowledge that he was meeting Arteta at home at a country club over sandwiches and scones and tea and maybe an odd game of croquet, I don't care. His mind should have been on one thing, and that was keeping us in the Premier League at the time. So, and then, the comments of, it's nice to be at a big club and playing these big games. Dick, do you realise back in July you played in a European final and won a trophy? I found that, for me, I'm not saying everyone, I found that disrespectful. So,
and I'm not going to lie, I've seen Arsenal a couple of times this season, and I've gone, but he hasn't. He has played well for him, and I'm going to put my hands up to it.
What makes me sick is, Declan Rice has come along such a long way since he left West Ham. No, he hasn't. He was doing that week in, week out last season. I think the only bad game he had for West Ham last season happened to be the final, but that's neither here nor there. These West Ham fans that are saying, "Oh, he won us our first trophy." No, he didn't. He was poor in the final. Paqueta and Bowen, and Benny, if you want, won us that final. What I will say is, after the game now, and I'm just going to fast forward so I can get it out of the way.
Yeah.
A lot of respect for him walking round. the four sides of the stadium and clapping. Got a lot of time for that. Anyway,
well, yeah, and then
Kerry's in the house. I mean, happy. I'll get told off for that. Talk me through Bowen's second or Bowen's third.
I've got that's probably one of the best balls Cresswell Suffolk's done all season. He won it, and no one was in there. I thought that was on the money, and then Pat Butcher again messing up her hair and her earrings.
That was an awful defensive header for someone who's played as a centre-back for most of my life when I played. That was terrible.
I know. Do you know what it looked like? A volleyball. Do you know when you have to keep the ball up? Like a little volleyball serve up. That's what it reminded me of.
It reminded me of Deck's goal away at Lyon.
Oh, yeah.
Ben Johnson swung the ball in from left back. The guy headed it, and it landed at Deck's feet, and the same when it with Bowen.
Yeah, no, definitely. But no, as everyone says, if you don't shoot, you don't score. It took a little nick. I thought. I'm not going to lie. I thought he was unlucky as well. The abuse he's been getting at Ramsdale, I think he's quite harsh. But like you said, bit slippery. He deserved that goal, and obviously he gets a nice little elbow later on in the game. I think. I don't think he's got. Yeah, it don't look like.
Well, I don't know. It was accidental. I mean, if my memory serves, he chased him back, and they both kind of fell over.
Yeah.
And as they went down, he kind of got clocked, didn't he? Right on the. That's one of them. You can't blame anyone for that.
No, exactly. But like he was the one who I can't remember how we counter-attacked. Obviously, Bowen then played the ball out, and then obviously the ball come in. But yeah, the rest was the rest was different class, and I'm glad he got his goal. And all this criticism was frustrating me. Oh, we can't play up front by himself. He's not that, and then he's just proved everyone wrong. He don't stop running. His strength he's quite short.
He's a stocky little fucker, though, isn't he? For everyone that says he can't do as you say, the Antonio role, mate, he put himself about. He literally won. I think he won 2 or 3 free kicks where he brought the ball down on his chest and they just hit him in the back. Even if he weren't winning the headers, he was going up and making a nuisance of himself.
The only thing that I will say, what lets him down, is his right foot, but that he can still work on that.
Yeah, but mate, I couldn't give a shit about his right foot if he does what he did last night with his left. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm not gonna.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I mean, it made me laugh, right? Because all of this, and I have fun with that. But if Rice doesn't leave, right? Forget where he went. If Rice doesn't leave, we don't bring in what we bought in. We don't bring in Kudus. No. We don't bring in Alvarez. We don't bring in Mavropanos. No. Now, everyone's here. Hello, everyone. I want to.
It's like London buses, isn't it?
I know. That's because the others have finished and they've all come over to us feeling sorry for us. Alvarez a couple of points after Deck came on. So he brings on, to counter us going 2-0 up, he brought on Deck and Tomiyasu. And then when we went 3-0 up, he brings on Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli.
Yeah.
And then he brings on Martin Odegaard. So of the seven changes he made, he rectified 5 of them in the game, right?
Mm.
I know you've been there since minute 1, Becca. I know you have. I saw you and I said hello. There was a couple of times, and it was people in the pub I was watching it with were made up over it. And I don't know if you saw it, Andy. 2 or 3 times, Deck got the ball. Alvarez was so close to him, he's trying to challenge him. As Deck lays the ball off, Alvarez is just leaving a little foot in. He's kind of coming across him with his leg. He's sticking a boot in after the ball's gone. And I was like, that's amazing. Like someone's gone to him do yourself a favour, son. If you want to win these fans over a little bit, I guarantee you, just leave a little boot in. Don't try and hurt him. Don't clatter him and break him in 6 or 7 places.
But the one when Paqueta just nicked the ball off him as well. It was
brilliant,
nice.
Mate.
It really
I'll tell you what, there could have been a red card. Coming back to it, Paqueta. Yeah. I did lose my voice, Larry. It wasn't singing country music late last night, but it was actually me screaming and shouting. It was brilliant. There was a bit, and Paqueta, he frustrates the shit out of me, Andy. He annoys me. My God, I want to grab him and shake him. But there was a bit where he brings the ball down on his chest. And he kind of stands there for like a second. And then he rolls it down himself. And as he does, we win the free kick.
Someone left one on him, didn't they?
They studied him. The foot was up, the studs were high, and they stamped forward. Now, that could have been.
Look what Happy. That's what Happy said. You mentioned it as well. That's what
it just kind of absolutely blew him off. It was amazing, amazing. And then again, there was a couple of times, mate. I don't know if you noticed the referee was a bit.
Oh, Simon Opa! What a crap ref he is, though. Like the amount of free kicks he was giving them, and I was just like, "This is love."
He went in with a shoulder, and the guy falls over. All right, he does get caught in the eye by the flailing arm afterwards. Okay, but I'll tell you what, Paqueta when he won the shoulder to shoulder,
yeah,
and he quick overs. Oh mate, I was in there. Oh, it was brilliant. As much as he frustrates me and annoys me, to see him do that. It's party time. You're 3-0 up at the time. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. And all right, we can see one late on, and it would have been nice to keep a clean sheet for the fans. But what I will say is I was over the moon when Odegaard scored.
You had the bet. You had that on your bet, did you?
Well, I did a little builder bet, and I had West Ham to win outright. Yeah. So, winner of the tie if it had gone to penalties. I had Kudus and Bowen to either score or assist.
Yeah.
And then I had both teams to score.
Oh, and wow.
It was a nice 10-1. I stuck a $5 on it, so I came away with 55 notes. So I didn't mind that we conceded. It is a bit of a big one. But I personally think that we were full value for the money, Andy. Like I said it at the top of the show, the high press, the fact that I actually reckon that Moyes watched the preview that me and Steve did when I said about taking your wingers and putting them on their fullbacks, taking your two attacking players, putting them on their centre backs.
Zinchenko, I've never rated him, to be perfectly honest.
Mate, I would have loved him before he went to Arsenal, and then he went to Arsenal, and he's now shit.
Well, no, it's not. It's just shit. It's just he had better players at Man City, like Laporte, and to cover him.
Fair enough.
And Rodri, he had Jorginho and flipping Gabriel. It's a bit of a contrast of difference, isn't it, really, when you think about it?
Not only that, mate, but he had, in fairness to him, he had Kudus and Soufal absolutely terrorising down that left-hand side, our left-hand side. They our right-hand side, sorry. They terrorised him. You know, Andy, you play FIFA, right?
Yeah.
My mate Neil sent a message in the chat, and he said that Soufal Kudus link on the right-hand side is just red. Yeah. It shouldn't work. But for some reason, last night, they did everything in tandem. They defended.
But do you know what I think it was, though? It was Souček and Alvarez worked as a team yesterday. Souček didn't bomb forward once. No, really, did he? He didn't have to. So he just sat there.
You know why he didn't have to? because we did the high press. By doing the high press, they had to go long, so it gave
the chance to win the end and win the headers.
And that's what we should be doing every week.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be doing. We shouldn't be sitting off and watching. We should be. We should be pressing like we did.
Yeah.
I mean, what Happy's saying in the chat there about all the banter
that was great,
backwards and forwards. Yeah, you know they were singing "You Sold Your Star" to Mikel Arteta. It's made up, and then someone made up a sticker last night was "We scored 3 by your record, past your record transfer fee." It's just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And I loved it. But then, like you say, Deck goes round at the end of the game and he claps all 4 sides of the stadium. And I've got a lot of time for that. He certainly won me back. Here it is. He certainly won me back doing that. 2 seconds.
For people, no worries. Yeah, so for people who don't as well, like we sort of, if you were here before that, we were talking about his what he done, and I've got to give a huge respect for him for what he done as well. This was 8 hours ago on his social media, saying, despite the result, love being back at the stadium and seeing so many familiar faces. Thank you, West Ham fans, for the reception. We'll always be grateful for and wish you all the luck for the rest of the season. So I thought that was a nice touch. I understand. I understand people's frustration. And to be honest, like you said, when he plays for England, I'll cheer him on. But at the end of the day, he's an Arsenal player. He didn't have to do that after. And have you seen the behind the scenes yet, Duke?
I saw some of the stuff where when Arsenal arrived and there was a lot of.
Oh no! So West Ham released behind the scenes. Right. There's him even hugging the members of the West Ham staff as well, the actual fitness coaches. And then after the game as well, he was talking to Antonio and he doesn't have to do that, but like what Happy said here, respected him, to be honest. And walked around and he didn't have to do that, but
no, he didn't, and that's always nice,
And one person who I want to give credit for, mate, is this man. I was very, when it's due, when we play shit or when it's his fault. I didn't agree with the playing Antonio, for example, on Sunday. I know you and Steve briefly talked about it. He could have easily played Antonio again yesterday. He's gone for it. He's seen a weakness, and I do see an influence what I think Heitner's done to us. I know it's easier said than done. The way he knows Alvarez and Kudus inside out, and I think that's probably what Ajax used to do. But the huge one for me is I'm so happy he's still at the club. I still think Kevin Nolan's the key. All these set pieces and everything, the fact that they've been given control again, and look how effective we are again as well.
Oh, mate. I mean, listen, Fabianski, we go back to talking about corners. Fabianski had to put a couple over.
I'd rather him do that. I'd rather him do that than try and hold on to him. I'd rather that.
I agree with you. Listen, he wasn't bothered, and to be fair, I wasn't bothered. As Trod says there, since we went and got Kudus and Alvarez, Ajax are now bottom of the league. So it shows you just how pivotal both of those players were to Ajax. And I'm going to quote Anton from West Ham Network. I'm also going to quote Gonzo over on Hammer's chat. They both said that Alvarez went and did the basics. He didn't hold on to the ball too long. He got the ball down. He broke up play and he released it at the right time. He took 1-2 touch.
I thought he was going to get booked. He did, but they weren't like cynical fouls, were they? They were just like little. But
it was an accumulation,
which I thought he was very. I'm not going to lie. I thought he was lucky, to be perfectly honest. But it just proves that he just doesn't give anyone a moment's peace. And to be honest, I think even if Odegaard was on the pitch, I think he would have had a tough game against Alvarez anyway. I thought
Listen,
he
I think
defended
if
very
Jack,
well.
I personally think if we played like we played and they started with the 5 that they brought on, I still think they would have struggled.
Yeah.
You said it yourself with Kudus, Soufal, Benny, and Emerson. It didn't give the fullbacks time to move, which would have meant that Saka and Martinelli wouldn't have had the support and the overlap that they would have, they thrive on in the league. And here we are. We're talking about West Ham in the quarter final now. And
I agree with what this said though. Like
it was awful,
Andy Carr won it as well. Is this number 9? Well, I hope not. He flipping wanted it's like and the fact that they left it so long, I don't understand why they left that for so long.
That was what, an hour?
10 past 11. 10 past 11, I think. Yeah.
Their excuse was they had to get fans out of the stadium.
Well,
they had to wait for the fans because they did it pitch side, so they had to wait for the fans to leave the stadium. That's their excuse. Then
they probably done that. They probably done that draw at 5 o'clock. They've done it 8 times to make sure the winners of the site of Chelsea and Liverpool were at home. Yeah, 100%.
And the fact that they can't fix the match.
I think I'll bore everyone again. But I'm just really gonna do where is it? So these are the draws who we've gone out with in the cup competitions since 2010. Yeah, 2010, 2011, Man United in the League Cup. 2012, 2013, Man United in the FA Cup. 2013, 14. We had Spurs in the League Cup, then we lost to Man City. 2015, 16. We lost the League Cup to Leicester, and then we had Liverpool and Man United in the FA Cup. 2016-17, Man City in the League Cup. 2017, Chelsea in the FA Cup. 2016-17, Man United in the FA Cup. 2017-18, Spurs in the League Cup, Arsenal in the League Cup. 2018-19, Spurs in the League Cup. 2020-2021, Man United in the FA Cup. 2021-2022, Man United, then Man City, then Spurs. Last year, Man United in the FA Cup, and then this year now Arsenal and now Liverpool.
It's embarrassing. Have you seen what Trudge just put? Man U, it was in the papers today. Man U have drawn 11 in a row at home in cup competitions.
Yeah.
4,096 to 1. Madness. It's just madness. And then Happy comes in with, well, that's bollocks. And then she said, if we get through the Scousers, you watch us get Magpies.
Well, no, it will be that if we beat that will be the semi-final. We'll probably lose to Port Vale over 2 legs. Middlesbrough. You know it.
Mate, I had a list of 7, from 1 being who I wanted most to 7 who I didn't want. And my list went Port Vale, Borough, Fulham, Everton, Chelsea, Newcastle, Liverpool. And I watched all the other 6 fall away and just went, you wankers. And we end up, and it's not even like we even got a home tie. No. It had to be at fucking Anfield and all, didn't it? 7 days before Christmas. West Ham fans have.
But I did put that. They've got Liverpool. They've got Man United and Arsenal off, I think, didn't they? Win theirs, and we've got Wolves in between that, and then Man United. So they've got 2 tough games in between. I can't see them going full strength for all 3. So
well, listen, they want to learn from Arsenal yesterday. If you don't go full strength and make some silly changes, we're going to come out and try and bite you in the arse. That's what we're going to do. Evening, Dax. That's the positive potato. I see it there. Yeah. Wolf's there as well. Sorry he's late as always. He says it's fine. Trod says football is becoming as fake as it's literally is. It's like reality TV now, isn't it? And then Chris is in the chat. Good evening, Chris.
Hello, Chris. How you doing, mate?
Still funny. I do try. Big up to the panel and West Ham fans. Great result for you last night. It certainly was. It was one of them that.
Talking of that, 5 points clear. I think 5 points with the other teams played a game less, but still, they're doing well coming back.
Had a ropey start to the season, Chris, didn't you? But you've definitely, both you and Southampton, I think, both had ropey starts to the season. Both have turned it round and both look bang on it at the minute, I have to say.
And fair, it's the old Pep's assistant, isn't it? That's Leicester. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's Leicester's manager, isn't it?
I think it is.
Or the coaching staff, I think. From mine.
I think he's one of them.
Hopefully, I don't want to look stupid, but
Go on, mate.
No, go on, mate. No, go on.
I was just going to ask Happy. Wolf just asked if she had a good birthday. How old was you, Happy? Can you type it in? Oh, Dax is me, by the way. It should have been. I should have known, shouldn't I? Because I saw the positive potato. Look, there he is. He's just giving us extra likes. It's all good. I don't mind. Irons 89. What do you think the stories that Moyes was told by Steiden to change tactics and players, or there will be a chance changing the dugout? I guess that means. I mean, yeah, I can to a certain degree. I can, but then it's not.
I think
these stories have got to come from somewhere. So there isn't smoke without a fire, or even the attempts of a fire. So these stories have got to come from somewhere. I'm not sure how much I put into it. Mandy says Happy was 23. Happy says she's 32.
I'm 32.
Happy, I've seen you up close. Those wrinkles on your face. They tell a different story, sweetheart. Come on. Be honest. Be honest. Sauces, claret and blur. Yeah, we're leaving that alone because I'm really not going down that.
At the end of the day, people need stories to sell hits. Like, unless unless David Moyes gets sacked before Brentford because he didn't play that style of football, I don't believe anything. Unless it comes out of David Moyes' mouth, which I very much doubt it, I don't believe anything. Like, people were so fucked up. I could see, and this is going to divide shit, how pissed off we were that we won last night, because that would have been 4 games on the spin. And that would have been a ticking bomb for Moyes. And people are waiting for it. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. At the end of the day, David Moyes is David Moyes. At the end of the day, is our manager. When he does something wrong, I back him. But like, for people to be that fucked off that he's winning. Sorry, my rant over.
What I will say is there's part of me that can say that Moyes was under pressure yesterday. 3 wins, 3 defeats on the trot. It's not good. It wasn't a good look. We know that Steiden has a bigger hold over certain things now. I can bet that there probably was a meeting between Steiden and Moyes. And probably Steiden has come out with something along the lines of, it's not working, we have to change it. Do you know what I mean? So it's just how things get changed. I don't think there was much more.
But this could be a Moyes masterclass. Obviously, I'm spoiling our preview as well for with no Alvarez and Paqueta.
Yeah.
If we get a result at Brentford, it just proves.
Well,
this could be a blessing in disguise of not having them, but I won't spoil that for that. But everyone in the chat, I think someone said it as well. Name your man of the match before we start wrapping things up. We'll give people a chance as well. 17 of you in the chat. Wow, We are popular tonight.
We are. They've all rocked up. You know, Jake finished and West Ham Network finished, so they were all a bit bored. They thought they'd come over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your man of the match, in Andy. I know we've asked people in the chat, and there's certainly there's going to be some certainly conflicting, shall we say, views on how people see what needed to be done for the man of the match. Who's yours?
Mine's Alvarez. I thought he was the difference in that midfield. He blocked up play, released the ball when we had to. At the end of the day, it probably sounds very critical. That's what Bowen and Kudus are there to do, to get the ball in the back of the net. Like there were good finishes, but I think Alvarez was the key for me. The picking up of the play and getting the ball. He's just so positive thinking, and that's the difference between him and Deck. Deck used to go a lot sideways, a lot, or try and run himself. Alvarez, as soon as he picks the ball up, he's looking to get that on, to get us on the front foot straight away. So for me, I thought obviously it's a different for people in the stadium. Yeah, for me, Alvarez. For me.
Okay, so in the chat we've got Larry says Kudus. Mandy has gone with Bowen. Budgie says Kudus, and anyone who argues gets a dig. Careful, Budgie, you're an age now where any sharp movement, you probably pop a hip or something. Wolf says Kudus and Bowen were so good, but I think Kudus for me. Irons89 has a question for you, Andy. Alvarez or Rice?
What? Who's a better player?
Yeah, I'm guessing so.
For West Ham, Alvarez. Like he's a holding midfield player. Deck tries to be a box to box. We've got a CDM who we've been crying out for. So for the fit of our system, Deck's gotten what we've invested. If we didn't sell Deck, we wouldn't have had Kudus. And if I had to choose, would you rather have Alvarez and Kudus, Luke, or Rice? Who would you pick him?
You could hang your hat on Mavropanos being in there as well.
Yeah.
So take your pick. Then you've got Happy. She says man of the match for me is Bowen, closely followed by Kudus, closely followed by Pax Alvarez. So just the whole team. Cheers, Happy. Larry says Alvarez played a much more controlled match. Agreed. Barney Ronnie Bubble says, I watched the CMB vid. Even Nick said it might be BS. Yeah. Trod says Bowen, then Alvarez. Irons89 says Steiden. Wolf says Kudus has so much energy, he doesn't get tired yet. Rice did get an assist. We defended from the front really well. Bowen had a blinder. Happy says, did anyone see how Bowen got his eyebrow cut? Yeah, he had a bit I think he chased the ball down in the corner. I think it went out for a corner in the end, and as he went down tangled in a heap, I think he got a clock to the eyebrow. Irons89 says Alvarez is so good when he's on his own in front of the back four. He looks awful with JWP next to him. I do agree, yes.
But the one thing what I would say on that is it's the way we play. Like if he was, that's the one thing I understand what people are saying, but I've seen people slagging Prowse off so bad. He doesn't offer nothing apart from set pieces, and I think that's rather harsh, to be perfectly honest. But that's just my opinion.
No, that's, you know what, it's fair enough. It's everyone's allowed them. I'm actually going to pick Pac-Man as my man of the match. I honestly thought he had one of his best games for us. A bit like Benny. Of the front four, Benny was the quietest, then it's Pac, and then it's, Kudus and Bowen. It's clear. But I think Pac-Man went under the radar. I thought we had a really good game. There's a lot of work rate from him. And I think once we start playing on
he's not a Brazilian. He's half Brazilian, half Argentine. He's got the Brazil flair and the Argentina bite, hasn't he?
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I love the way he will argue the toss with a referee for every free kick against us. Whether it's him committing the foul or not, he's always out. He appears out of nowhere. He's a bit like Mr. Ben in the old TV show that I used to watch. Bosh, he was there in front of him. And I all the time in the world for that. I really do.
Yeah, I agree with. Sorry, I'm going down to the bottom. What this one about JWP, because obviously look at him at Brighton. He was in front of Alvarez. So that's the one thing. What I will say is that the tactics didn't get him right. So Alvarez just sitting there as the one. So if you play 4-1-4-1,
that's what I want to see.
Then 100% he's a different player. Sorry, I've jumped a few passes.
No, you're all right. It's all good.
Yeah, he was proper on the floor. If you on the telly, wasn't he? He was just laying there like.
Yeah, someone said to me, "Has he been stretched off?" I was like, "I fucking hope not." He only had a bit of a cut eyebrow.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, happy saying as well, Cup. Yeah, that pass. Yeah, we talked about that at the start, but everyone makes mistakes, and
a slight bobble. It's just there, isn't it? It's one of them.
Yeah.
He's talking about E20 Zone TV being Moyes in, and if that's their prerogative. Like Happy, I'm still on the fence. Sorry, Andy, I know you're pressing the same time.
No, that's right.
I want to see more evidence, like she says, but I'm pleased. Let's take it one game at a time, and we're in the quarterfinal away trip to Liverpool 7 days before Christmas.
What Christmas present that will be?
Wouldn't it just?
And talking about that as well, they've done that nicely, didn't they? They've moved the Man United game to half 12, haven't they? In TNT before Christmas. Yeah, and then the Arsenal game's been moved, didn't it, to the following Thursday as well?
It has indeed. Yep. Got to keep these big clubs happy. Paul's just joined us. We're about to wrap up. He says, "Evening, gents. Great chat. West Ham owed themselves and us fans that performance and a victory last night. Only regret is the last second goal conceded. Would love to have kept a clean sheet. Listen, you and me discussed this last night in the pub. I won 55 quid. Shut up. I'm not hearing no more on it."
Yeah.
I think that's enough. I think you and me are going to disappear now to come back and record the Brentford preview.
Yeah, I am. I depending on it as well. I might do a little build-up show before the game once the teams get announced on Saturday, because I'm here. I'm not going, unfortunately. So look out for that as well.
Yes, I won't. Well, I might. Yeah, we'll see. We're going to go record that. We shall see you, lovely people, further down the line. Don't forget, Monday will be the Extra Time headquarters show over on the other channel. We'll be doing that. Look out for any future videos that we're going to be doing. We are going to be bringing back a fan favourite or a channel favourite. I'm looking to get someone lined up to come down to the pub. As I said on the other show, possibly might need to do a little online chat with them first and then maybe bring them down after Christmas, but we'll have to see. Follow all of our social medias. Go and subscribe to both channels on YouTube if you haven't done already. Make sure there's 15 of you. Make sure you like this video. Share it across your social media platforms for us as well. The Extra Time channel is sitting at just under 200 subscribers at the moment. We'd love to get that bumped up. This channel is sitting at, I think, just under 1,600. So if you guys can share it and get us some more subscribers, be much appreciated. Andy, any last words?
No, just thanks for everyone in the chat. It really does mean a lot for everyone getting involved, and just thanks for being a part of the furniture. It means a lot.
We shall see you live on Monday on the other channel. Keep an eye out on Saturday for the Brentford preview. Thank you, everyone, and good night.
Thank you.